Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That is Tyler.
What it is, sir?
Just having a Tuesday. having a Tuesday.
A Tuesday.
A Tuesday. Either one. I'm
Yes.
having one.
I haven't been teased in a while, so I can tell my wife did not listen to the show yesterday because she would have wore me out about it when I got home. So constant in my house.
It's one of the advantages I have. My wife never listens to any of the shows, so that's a good thing.
My wife doesn't either until we got snitches that listen to our show, by the way. We got snitches. If I say something that's out of pocket,
You hear about it?
well, they tell on me.
Oh.
They tell on me. And I know when my mother listens to the show because she's like, Tyler, you need to clean your language up. I got you, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Sorry, Mom. I haven't said sorry, Mom, in a while.
That's true.
That's on our logo.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, like where the ticker in the back.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. Yeah.
Pretty fitting.
Yeah, I need to do that.
All right, we're running a little bit late today because I just got through taping another show. So, yeah.
The hardest working man in podcast business.
And I sometimes I feel like I'm really neglecting my website, but I've been working on it too. It's just been one of those.
I sat in the corner, man, and you put baby in a corner. I was over sitting in the corner listening to Pete talk about ball.
I saw you come in.
Yeah, I was just chilling, enjoying my day, checking my emails. Was working, multitasking, baby.
That's all you can do, man. Do the best you can, right?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Welcome into episode 209 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Tuesday, September the 17th. Hope everyone's having a good start of your week, I guess. Tuesday is still technically the start of the week. So hope you're having a good start as we get with you here a few minutes late. Today we're brought to you each and every show by our good friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. So check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Neal, I'm rocking with a kiwi blend today, 2 days in a row. I'd been off the kiwi blend for a little while. I got a little taste of it yesterday, and just, golly. It's got green apple in it as well. It's really good. So it tastes like I've always said this about the kiwi blend, is that I don't really get the kiwi taste as much. It's almost like an apple Jolly Rancher. That's probably the best way I can describe it. If you like apple Jolly Ranchers, that's what I like. That's what the kiwi blend tastes like. But Neal, the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping. And today at Cooper Chevrolet, anytime this month, you can get a car, bravoalabama.com. You can go check those guys out. You can go to Cooper Chevrolet. They have over 40 Car Bravo certified used import and domestic vehicles. Cooper has the largest inventory in the state of Alabama. During Bravo days, you can get 1.9% APR or $500 down payment assistance on eligible Car Bravo vehicles. Call our good friends at Cooper Chevrolet at area code 256-236-4481. That's 256-236-4481. You can literally be anywhere in the country. They'll bring it to you. So if you're looking for a vehicle, give our guys at Cooper Chevrolet a call. Neal, we're also brought to you by PTG Outdoors. Our good friend Brandon and all the guys at PTG Outdoors. They are a Camus boats dealer. They have both fresh and saltwater boats. They sell and service Mercury outboards. They do custom marine electronic installations with Garmin, Humminbird, and Low Ranch products. You can get all of your fishing needs and custom golf cart retrofits where they replace all of the batteries with a single lithium battery. They have locations in Grenada, Mississippi, and Northport, Alabama. More importantly, it doesn't matter if you're on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. It doesn't matter. If you're into the outdoors, if you need anything, fishing, anything, go to their online store at ptgoutdoors.com, and they will get you set up. How we doing, my friend?
I'm fine. Just getting through the day, man.
Getting through it, baby.
Getting through the day.
I'm impressed, man. You've been grinding. We're gonna have a good time today. So this is like the part is like it's like I get to talk ball. I've been in other meetings today, and I'm like, yeah, we get to talk ball today. So I've been in a bunch of meetings all morning, so now I get to like talk ball. I did talk ball with a Big Ten client for a while, but that was about it. But the rest of it was business.
Gotcha. I'm actually looking forward to my run tonight. I'm hoping my back looks forward to it as much as the rest of me is looking forward to it.
So I'm a big routine guy. I've always been a big routine guy.
Yeah.
So one thing I do now is I had to make a lot of calls. And so I've gotten to where I'm getting my walk in. And so I do all of my calls
While I
walk. And
Yeah.
that way, when I get back to my computer, I can grind it out.
Uh-huh.
So it's hard when you get going and you get interrupted and you got to get back on all that stuff. So I think I'm found me a little routine. So I kind of enjoy that.
I'd gotten into a really good morning exercise routine, and I've kind of gotten out of it here the last couple of weeks because work. It's harder to do, and then there was some weather that messed it up, and I mean, I'm okay about it. Like I'm excited to get out and run a little while tonight and see what happens. Hopefully the back cooperates.
That would be ideal.
Yeah. I told you about that. I've been having some lower back issues that
hamstrings, dog.
Well, I've been stretching the hamstrings and still having them, so it's kind of a little alarm. Some of it's just getting old, and but it's like it's not immediate. It's like 2 miles in, and then you have to decide, okay, do I grind through this or do I stop and go to a walk? And it's just kind of sometimes it's a difficult decision.
We used to call those creatine cramps, like when creatine was really popular when I was playing, so everybody was on it.
Yep.
And you would we thought it was your back. It was really your kidneys trying to flush all that mess, but your lower back would lock up nonstop. Yeah. It sucked. Hey, in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, Jacob Marshall Comedy. It's your birthday. He says it's my birthday. Excited for the episode. Appreciate you. Happy birthday, Jacob. Let's go. Spending it with your boys today. Love it. All right, Neal. We're gonna start this bad boy off with Monday Night Football. I got a little take here. Okay. Gonna piss off a lot. If you're a Philly fan, you're an Eagles fan, you're probably gonna be really, like we say, we like to piss people off all the time. Mm-hmm. This is the time we're about to do it. All right, so the Eagles lose 22-21 to the Falcons last night, and probably more than any game I've ever seen in my life, that was the most coaching malpractice I've ever seen in a football game at any level. I shouldn't say that, probably not at any level, but definitely at the National Football League. Nick Sirianni tries to be the smartest guy in the room every fucking game, and it cost his ass a win last night. Period. End of the discussion. You can blame it on all the stuff you want to blame it on. At the end of the day, he's trying to be the smartest guy in the room on every freaking play. He's trying to be the smartest guy in the room instead of just doing what it takes to win the football game. Mm-hmm. And so here's one take is more and more as we get further into this. Oh, the book told me so, and analytics. The further we get into this analytic world of football, the less that coaches have a true feel of how the game is going. It's just strictly, I don't care what's going on in the game. What's the book tell me to do? And every year that we go further in this deal, it's all about the book. So the first drive of the game, they got 4th and 4. Okay, they got 4th and 4 from the 9-yard line. And first thing they do is they burn a timeout because they're trying to get them to jump off sides. They don't jump. And so instead of taking first drive of the game, instead of taking the easy chip shot 27-yard field goal, what does he do? He goes for it. Doesn't get it. Throws a pass, and like Jalen Hurts does 99.9% of the time, he'll sit in the pocket, and he's going to escape to his right and try to make a throw or run. That's what he does. And they didn't get it, so they got no points. So you kick the field goal. It's the opening drive of the game. You've driven down the field. When they get in the red zone, they have struggled in the red zone. Atlanta's played well in the red zone. They literally Pittsburgh kicked 87 field goals last week to beat them because they couldn't score in the red zone. And what do you do in the first drive of the game at 4th and 4? You go for it because the book says, "Oh, we should go for it here." Not that you can't points. Take your points and go. Yeah. Don't be cute. Now, different times in the game, cool. First drive of the game, get points. It's momentum. It's confidence. Like, I don't see anywhere in the book where it says, hey, if you kick this, your players are going to believe in your plan. No, they see that drive as a failure. It's the same thing as a turnover or a punt. Get points early in the game. Drives me nuts. All right, and this is where it gets really cute. Last drive of the game, Neal. Last drive of the game, the 2-minute warning hits. And they get a first down. Philadelphia's trying to run out the clock, 4-minute drill. They get a first down. They're deep in the red zone. Like, they're at the plus 19-yard line.
Okay.
And they get a first down, 2-minute warning. Well, Atlanta has all 3 timeouts. Check that. It's 3rd and 1, Neal. I apologize. It's 3rd and 1. And 2-minute warning hits, and Atlanta's got all 3 of their timeouts. So Atlanta comes out, coached up their kids or their adults, coached up the players, and when they line up to run the play, the guy purposely jumps off sides and hits the guy because he wants a fresh set of downs, right? What does Nick Sirianni do? He declines the penalty.
Why?
Because he's trying to make them burn a timeout. He thinks he's going to get the first down on 3rd down. Okay, so he does it. Okay, they did the tush push. They get the first down. It buys you an extra play when they got the timeouts. Like
Okay.
I actually understand the logic there. I still don't know if I could sit here and go, man, you know what I'm going to do? I mean, because what if they fumbled a snap on 3rd down? What if they didn't get it and now you're at 4th down? You know, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But he declines it. Okay, being the smartest guy in the room, I just don't know. I get it. I understand the logic, but I can also argue with you. But that's a chance. That's a risky play. All right, so this is where it gets completely clusterfucked. Okay, and this is when he really demonstrated he was trying to be the smartest guy in the room. There's 1:42 left in the game. Atlanta is now out of timeouts.
Okay, I understand now.
Okay,
Yep.
they're out of timeouts. 1:42. They got 3rd and 3 from the 10-yard line.
You run the ball.
Okay,
Because you're either going to get a first down and win the game, or you're not going to get a first down, but you're going to take 40-something seconds off the clock.
or you get 4th and this far, and you can tush push it in the game.
Or whatever.
Whatever, right?
Right.
What does
But
my man do?
I want to take the time off the clock.
My man runs ace protection, free releases the back, and tries to hit a running back.
Mm-mm.
Okay, not a receiver. Because do you know what running back stands for? Do you know what their job is?
It's to run.
To run the ball. Most running backs don't have great hands.
I don't care if it's Jerry Rice there. We're running the ball.
He throws it, throws a dart, incomplete. Clock stops.
Stupidest thing you could do.
Okay? So
Literally, other than turning it over, it's the stupidest thing you could do.
They would, and that was at the completion of the play. So running the ball, they probably get the clock down to 55 seconds or so.
Yeah, I was going to say inside of a minute.
And then they kick it off, and then now they have the length of the field to drive with 48, 49 seconds.
Because let's say they get 2 yards, you can kick a field goal, go up. They would have gone up 4, right?
6.
So they would have gone up 6 with 50 seconds left.
Instead, they kicked the field goal, went up 6 with 1:40 left. And Atlanta drove down the field and scored a touchdown with like 30 seconds to go. What's 1:42 minus with 30 seconds? Oh, they ran 1:10 off the clock to do it. Ball game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But that's what you get for trying to be the smartest guy in the room.
But I told you late last season, the Philadelphia Eagles, I started to say 76ers, my mind sometimes goes to the NBA. The Eagles, they did not appear to be a super cohesive team. It got sort of covered up in all of the goodbye to Jason Kelsey stuff. But they were not exactly the most harmonious team. There were some issues there, and it's one of the reasons why when you and I were doing preseason stuff, and look, I get 99% stuff wrong, so I guess I'll cling to the 1% I got right. I thought the Eagles were fading.
Well, they're like 2-9 in their last 11 or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something crazy.
Yeah,
that people don't think of. They're too talented to be like that. And here's the thing too, it's like there's things during the game.
But in the NFL, man, sometimes windows close. And sometimes the window crashes closed where you hear it close. You're like, shit, who slammed the window? Sometimes the window just eases to a close. I think this is one of those eases to a close thing. I know they've got some good players. Everybody in the NFL has good players. Like, it's really hard to make the NFL. So having some good players doesn't cover up the fact that you're just not a very good team anymore.
How about this? This is a coaching thing that they got hit on. They continue to get hit on, and they refuse to clean it up. I've noticed it. For the last 2 games, even against the Packers. So on rundowns, they want to be an RPO team, right? They like to run RPOs. Well, in the NFL, you got 1 yard downfield, right? Yeah. You don't have 3. So the NFL teams are not playing odd against them. They're going an even front, and they're leaving the center uncovered. So they're playing a 3 technique on one side. Instead of playing a shade or a 1, they're actually widening that guy out to a 2 technique, and they're leaving the center because they're running all of their RPOs off zone. And so the center is basically manned up on the linebacker. And so they're forcing that center. They're giving him a clean release, and they're allowing him to go downfield every damn time. He got called for illegal lineman downfield like 3 times last night on first down, and they don't understand that, like, you can't. They just continue. They never made an adjustment,
Yeah,
and so they kept
NFL
running off.
officials don't miss that one.
They don't miss that call, boss.
Mm-mm.
But he's getting a free release because the lineman doesn't know what the play call is. And normally when you're playing odd fronts, okay, you're getting a combo or whatever. You're getting combos across the front or you're pulling whatever. But when you're getting even front, one of your guys is going to have a clean release, especially if you jack with the alignment of the A-gap player. You can widen him out, and it's making the center. He's like, hey, I'm free. We used to call it adios call, okay? We shortened it to AMF. You know what AMF stood for? Adios mother. That's what literally was our call. Sorry, Mom, I didn't say it that time. But that was the call, is we'd say AMF, that told them, hey, I'm going to the backer. I'm not helping you with a combo. And so that's what they keep doing to the Eagles over and over again, and they have made zero adjustment. And they'll get in these RPO situations where everybody knows an RPO is coming. They'll widen, they'll take him from a shade or a 1 out to a 2, and now the centers give him an AMF call. He's going upfield. He's 3 yards upfield. Throw the flag because they don't miss the call.
No, they don't miss it.
They don't miss it.
I mean, like the Bengals did it the other day. The guy was an inch over, if that, and they called it.
Yeah, they don't miss it.
They just don't miss it
at all. All right, Neal. We talked. It happened right before the show, so we didn't get a really chance to talk about it a whole lot. Bryce Young getting benched for Andy Dalton yesterday. This is not going to surprise anyone that's listened to our show because we've talked in detail about the organization over there. Probably the most validating thing that happened out of this whole deal, what we've talked about on our show for the last 2 years, is in the press conference after the game, Dave Canales, who's the head coach at Carolina, was asked, is Bryce Young going to be your starter? He said, absolutely. He'll be starting against the Raiders. And then less than 24 hours later, he's not the starter. So what had happened was is the owner all got together and said, hey, this is what we're doing.
And the owner's the one that insisted on drafting Young. So this is why in professional sports it's fascinating. The best franchises are the ones that have ownership that is willing to invest, but lets the baseball people do the baseball, lets the basketball people do the basketball, lets the football people do the football. It's one of the reasons that the Thunder are so good.
Yeah, is
that their ownership is very solid, and yet they let Sam Presti make basketball decisions. Clay Bennett doesn't come down and go, I've been looking at this small forward at UCLA. Nope, doesn't do it. That's one of the reasons they're good.
Yeah.
One of the reasons the Steelers have been so good over the years is that the Rooney family doesn't make football decisions.
No.
They hire football people to make football decisions, and they let them make football decisions and hold them accountable for football decisions. And then they go handle the other things that don't involve. Because there's things that when you run a football franchise that you do that don't involve football.
Yep.
And you let people that handle those things, marketing and PR and things of that nature, that you can be a great marketing director for an NFL franchise and not know a damn thing about how to play football. However, you need football people to make football decisions. And he's gotten involved in some of their decisions. And instead of having C.J. Stroud at quarterback, he drafted Bryce Young. And now they're emotionally bailing on Young. And
and here's the damage they did is Bryce Young was taken off guard. He didn't know what was coming. Nobody talked to him about it.
Yeah,
you're done.
He's done.
He's done.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, who's going to be the starter, didn't know about it. So nobody was informed. The way it was handled is very unprofessional.
Yeah.
Okay. Extremely unprofessional. I get it, sports and all that stuff, but there's still a way to do things.
Sure.
And how about this? I saw this stat. This was on. I read this on ESPN. I didn't make this up. So give ESPN credit for this in the article that they wrote. Whoever wrote it. Bryce Young is the first. Think about this. This is going to blow your mind. Bryce Young is the first number 1 pick to be benched in his second season in the common draft area. That'd be since 1967.
And not even just in this. I mean, it's wild in and of itself, but 2 games in.
2 games.
I mean,
in.
you're just abandoning. I mean, you're just going abandon ship. I mean, you were just that's you're admitting that you made a horrific pick It's all on you. It's not on him. It's all on you. And now, shoo, good luck. Hey, the person in the marketing department right now is going, all right, you want me to sell tickets? Like real tickets to the actual games?
Well, I saw
I
you
mean,
could get a
can you
ticket for $1.80 or something.
Can you imagine being a Panthers fan today? I mean, what's the incentive to go out there on Sunday afternoon other than it's a football game?
Watch the other team.
I mean, but if your incentive is, hey, I'm a big Panthers fan, I want to see the Panthers win. There are other things you could do with your time on Sunday that would be a little more effective before you get up Monday morning and hit the rat race again.
Hayden Harris in the Cooper Chevrolet chat said, "Why doesn't he request a trade?" Or excuse me, I'm sorry, that was Alan. I'm sorry. Alan said, "Why doesn't Bryce demand a trade?" Well, the reason is because if they try to trade him right now, they're going to ask for unrealistic assets in return, and nobody's going to like if you trade the number 1 overall pick in year 2. They're going to try to get something stupid in the trade, and then nobody's going to give it to them. They're going to they may want a 1 or some 2s. There's not going to be any, I guess, trade value there from what they want. There's too much ground to be made up between what they want and what's willing to be paid. So
for sure.
But yeah, look, Bryce, in my opinion, they have ruined the kid. You can tell his confidence is shook. He's scared to make a mistake. And I've said this, one of the big things, AJ's on our show. He's on our show every Monday. He did a great job yesterday. I thought it was hilarious. But like when you have a young quarterback, like with AJ, okay, and I won't say this while he's on the show because it'd probably embarrass him a little bit. But when AJ was a freshman, okay, and I started him as a true freshman, ninth grader. I started him as a ninth grader. AJ threw more picks in his last game of his freshman year in the playoffs. Again, we played Homewood in the 3rd round of the playoffs and got beat his freshman year. He threw more picks in that game than he did the rest of his career combined. He threw 5 picks in one game, his last game of his freshman year. And he threw 4 in 3 years, okay? And 3 of them were off drop balls. Like he only threw 1 that was his fault the next 3 years. He was late on a comeback. First game of the year is junior year or sophomore. I think it's junior year. But the point of the drill is this, is when you get a quarterback, there is this, you want them to take educated risk. Okay. And I said educated risk. Okay. So if you know that the ball, example, we call it the 50-50 ball, right? You got one-on-one press man coverage and you got to know the situation. So say it's 1st and 10 and you got a 50-50 ball opportunity with a receiver. Well, it's not really 50-50. Okay, they gotta line up. They gotta know A, who is my receiver, B, who is the defender. Okay, so that's going to affect your percentages, what the success rate, and then where do you put the ball? Okay,
yeah.
So you can increase or decrease your chances. Well, he's gotten to where he doesn't even take his educated risk anymore, and that's where he made his money at Alabama. Is he made educated risk based on who he threw it to in the matchups, and he is just out there scared to death to make a mistake. Every ball he cuts it. So he's taken that, call it swag, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
That moxie is now gone. He's so scared. He's taking sacks now that he would never have taken. When he goes to throw the ball, he's not stepping into his throw, so he's selling everything because it's all arm action. And he's falling back because, in people that don't know, when you're an undersized guy, hand-raised guy here, and you play football, one of the ways to survive, Emmitt Smith is the one who made this unbelievable, is you got to give with a hit. Okay, there's times when when you can shake somebody or you can avoiding the big hit. But if somebody's about to knock your ass out and you know what's coming, if you give with it a little bit, it doesn't hurt as bad. Okay, and you can stay healthier. But he's doing that every time he's letting the ball go. His momentum's going back, and he's becoming an inaccurate passer. So they've ruined the kid for whatever it's worth. And you're going to look at somebody like it's taken Sam Darnold how long to show he can play football now because he went to the Jets and went to the same thing.
Yep.
You look at Zach Wilson. He's an extremely talented kid that's been shit on. He'll never develop probably. But you can ruin players early in their career by putting them in bad positions, and I feel that's kind of what's happened here. So it is what it is. All right, Neal, let's jump on to week 2 of college, and then we'll talk about some NFL.
Week 4 of college.
Oh, it's week 4. What am I thinking? I put week 2 down there.
It's okay.
I did. I straight put week 2.
You did.
It's been one of those days, Neal.
It has.
I've been in meetings all day. All right, so
it's been a day since very early. I get it.
Since very early.
Yep.
One that people probably didn't have marked down as a top 25 matchup coming into the week. On Friday night, we got a treat.
Yeah.
We got the 3-0 Illinois Fighting Illini, the Brett Bielema's, traveling to Nebraska to take on the 3-0 Matt Rule-led Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
Nebraska's favored by 9.5. I think it's going to be a very physical game.
For sure.
Very, very physical game. Look, I've said this. When we do the TikTok lives and all that stuff, I said this. There's a lot of Nebraska fans that follow our show and listen to the show. Now we got a good crew from Nebraska. If you're a Nebraska fan, this is a great time to be a Nebraska fan because you have gone through how many years now since the late 90s of just
decades,
just averages grits. Enjoy the build. I am, from what I do for a living in my day job, I don't know if I've been more impressed with a coaching staff, with an organization, the way they conduct themselves business-wise, like to the point where, like, if I was an AD, I don't give a shit. I don't what's it cost. I'm dropping the bag to go get Matt Rule.
Well, two things. I agree.
And his staff. I want everybody.
You talk a guy getting validated. The steal in Carolina. No, I'm totally serious.
It validates Carolina.
It validates Matt Rule.
Yeah.
This deal in Carolina validates Matt Rule. It shows you that, hey, that deal in Carolina, that wasn't on him. He just happened to be there. That wasn't on him. He's a terrific college coach. He's done really well everywhere he's ever been.
Yeah.
And look, I think Nebraska, the way that they're starting to play, the quarterback's young. Of course, the quarterback at Tennessee is young too, and I don't say this about him. If you're looking for sleeper playoff teams, Nebraska's one.
I looked at their schedule. It's they got Ohio State.
Yeah.
They got Iowa. Like they got some
they'll
games.
beat Iowa. Iowa's not good.
Yeah,
they'll
you know what I'm saying. They got some games that are tough. But like
if you told me that Nebraska got to 10-2 and was in the conversation, I'd completely buy it.
I think they're a year away.
Probably. I'm just saying. I think they're a sleeper team.
But I will tell you this: I would, if I'm a Nebraska fan, I'm like, you got to love what's going on. Like, it's overly, and I mean this in the most genuine way I can say this. It's really impressive.
Yeah,
it's really impressive from somebody inside the business, seeing I know how things work. It's overly impressive how they do things. I love, and even with like if he's got the full package, you know what I mean? Like he's an entertaining interview. He's good in front of the microphone. Mm-hmm. He's great in front of the kids. He's great in the living room. He's a great evaluator.
Yeah.
He's a great CEO. He's got good people around him. It's really a really impressive organization they got going. So
agreed.
It makes it very easy to become a Nebraska fan. You know what I mean? To watch it, like you pull for them every week, knowing what they got going. All right. Second game, probably I'd say number 2 of my interest list of the week. USC going to Michigan. A game we get to credit to the great Big Ten conference realignment.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you talking about people's not mine, but you talking about we should have talked about them yesterday. USC is a team that's better than I thought they were going to be because of the way they're playing defense. They're playing defense again in the Coliseum. Michigan, they're favored by 5.5 at Michigan in the Big House. All right. Mistake number 1 is Michigan did not schedule this game at 11 a.m. I wonder if the Big Ten had something to do with that. It's at 2:30.
Well, this is that CBS 2:30 slot.
Yeah.
I imagine this is probably CBS's call.
So they have the CBS have call over Big Noon over Fox?
Yes.
Okay.
CBS has
they got first spot. Okay. Well, that's probably what it was.
This is the start of their because they've had the US Open and all that stuff tennis the first couple of weeks. This is their first big soiree with the Big Ten.
Gotcha. So they didn't have control over the Michigan-Texas game then, apparently. I got you. Okay. Well, that was my thought process because I was like, well, surely if I didn't know CBS. I mean, they had first shot in the SEC, but I was like,
no, I think this is week 1.
I wonder why they didn't take the Michigan-Texas game. Again, unless they contractually didn't have it.
I don't know.
But
wasn't there a US Open going on at that point?
Oh, I don't know.
Because CBS shows the US Open.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, when it comes to tennis, dog, you got me.
Well, that's kind of always CBS's deal. They didn't pick up the SEC game of the week until like week 3 or 4 because they had the U.S. Open.
Gotcha. But look, I think USC. I think you're going to see a Texas-Michigan repeat here. I think USC's got. I think they outscore Michigan. I think Michigan doesn't know what they're doing at quarterback. They're changing quarterbacks again. I'm not. I think Michigan loses. I think it's going to be another defeat like they had at the hands of Texas a couple weeks ago. One of my favorite games of the week with that one.
Yeah, I actually like USC here.
Yeah,
a lot.
All right, Neal, ACC, a game that has all of a sudden become a really big game in the ACC because of schedules. Georgia Tech is traveling to Louisville. Louisville coming off a bye week, 2-0 in the bye week. They've looked good, really haven't played anybody yet. They're 10.5-point favorites at home against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is one of these teams, like, if you ask me to bet this game, probably not. I'd probably more lean Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech keeps the game close. I'm all in on this one because I think we know what Georgia Tech is by now because Georgia Tech's been tested. They played Florida State early, and we saw what they did in that game. They controlled the game.
Yeah.
They played Syracuse, lost the game, but played well. And they get better every week. Brent Key's a hell of a coach. Louisville should win the game, but I think this is closer than the experts think.
Yeah, I don't have any feel on this one. I've not seen Louisville at all.
There's about what they were last year.
Yeah,
just a little tougher schedule. All right, an early game that's going to dictate or going to have implications on the Big 12. Utah -2 at Oklahoma State.
Is Rising playing?
Even if he does, I don't think he will. But he's broken the 2 fingers on his throwing hand.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of like Oklahoma State here a little bit. They're at home. They find ways to win games at home. They escape with wins at home. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just one of the qualities that they have. They did it already a couple weeks ago against Arkansas. Utah's big physical team, but they haven't looked great so far. The little bit that I've seen them. I mean, and I haven't seen much.
They're pedestrian without.
If you're again, life advice. I'll knock this out right now. In fact, give you some life advice. Cole Walters, State Farm Insurance. Cole's licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia. You can contact him at 706-525-7850. You can also find him online, ColeWaltersInsurance.com. So here is the aforementioned life advice. For the love of God, don't take my advice on football games. I don't know what it is. I'm old. I don't know. I'm bad at it. I don't watch enough to even be dangerous. And yet I'm here giving picks on games. Now, if you want some further life, fade me. Get rich. Get rich. You're welcome. And if you fade me completely and you make a lot of money, think of me. There you go. Life advice.
They'd been +4 units last week if they'd faded you.
I know. I mean, people say, "Hey, did you watch this game?" I'm like, "No, I was covering and writing about a 40-6 game. I've covered 3 games now, and the total score is 168-9.
This would be 4.
And people, and people are like, "Why do you say college football's boring, Neal?" I'm like, I don't know. I go to 3 games that have taken 12 freaking hours to play, and it's 168-9. What could it possibly be?
And you're not a fan.
And I don't care. I cheer for the fast. And in every one of those games, they run out a big fat guy all clad in red holding up this sign that reads 6 minutes, 28 seconds or whatever. It feels like forever. It's like, oh, you were just out there. And dude goes back out again, TV timeout. And now they go, we'll go to the 2-minute warning, which was supposed to be no commercials.
Oh, it's like forever now.
And it's like, this is the longest TV timeout.
It was like 4 minutes and like
Oh, dude walked out there last week at Wake Forest. I swear to God, he held up a sign that said 11 minutes, 7 seconds.
When I looked at it when I went to the Ole Miss. What game did I go to? What was the last home game? Middle Tennessee. I got a 2-minute warning. A guy walked out there at 4 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That makes CBS jealous. Oh, that's great. Hey,
I mean, I walked down on the field for the end of the games. They arrested me at the last game because it turns out The guy, the TV timeout guy, he was like scared. And so they cuffed me, took me underneath the stands, and I said, "What did I do?" And they're like, "We're not going to take you in. We're just going to hold you until the game ends, and then you can go do your media thing." And I was like, "Okay." And then actually I was like, "Thank you, because this is the most excitement I've had covering this team so far." There you go.
Hey, if you want your checks, everybody wants the money.
Oh, I know.
Hey, when you want money, you got to pay bills, dog.
Hey, I get it.
You got to get the revenue somewhere.
I get it.
It is what it is.
I keep waiting for Disney, ESPN, ABC, everybody to go, "Hey, come on, fellas. Everybody. Hey, everybody. Listen.
Hey,
guys.
See, what happened was I wrote that $55 million check per school in your league this year.
Yeah.
All right, so $55 million times 16. Let me think here for a minute. Okay, look. When I'm shelling out $750 million, if I need to run this commercial 30 seconds longer, hey, we're going to run it 30 seconds
But I keep
longer.
waiting for them to go, "Hey, we got to have some more competitive games." Yeah, we can't do this the whole month of September.
It's coming.
Oh, I know it is.
It's coming.
Because common sense says it.
I think that's
common sense says it.
And you disagree with me, but you know where I think what's going to lead it.
I know what you think, and I hope you're right. I don't feel like having the conversation. I don't know
We're not doing it today.
I don't know how they get there.
Yeah, we're not doing it today, but I think that's going to be part of it. All right, Neal. A game I am interested in that I will be the only person that's interested in this game.
Yeah, Saturday night when it's 61-7 Ole Miss with 5 minutes left, and I'll go down on the field, and they have a TV timeout. They're going to tase me. I mean, I'm going to get tased.
Taser.
I mean, I'm not even going to go to the field because I'm going to be scared.
Well, first of all, I'm going to be pissed because that was part of the punishment that you said you weren't going to do.
Well, if they tase me, I get to sue them.
Oh, okay.
So that'll work good.
Get that. All right. Well, fair. That would be great for the show, though. And punishment would be all over. Get tased, chased down by the police dogs. That was great TV. Laura wouldn't like that, though.
No.
Laura wouldn't like that.
I'm already in the doghouse enough.
I'm going to take care of my dog. I promise you, I'm going to take care of you. By the way, can you tell Laura this, by the way, with this Talladega thing? I have been to no less than probably 50 races at Talladega, have never been involved in physical altercation. And I promise you, I've been in some situations where I could.
And how many times have you worn a shirt that says Dale Earnhart's overrated?
I've done much worse things.
Okay.
Much worse things.
Okay.
We're not going to mention names on this show. So people don't. It's kind of funny because nobody knows who you are. I went to Talladega. Talladega it's crazy. Okay. I went to, and everybody expects crazy. This is a good story. I cannot ever tell who it is. I went to Talladega with there was a very famous person that was with us, and we had been participating in too many Diet Millers during the day. It was on Saturday, and there was a company, a very big company, that had a massive tent for all their employees to like hang out, drink some Diet Millers, and so imagine like like these circus tents like you do for like wedding receptions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably 150 people eating dinner, and my very famous person that I was with, decided that it'd be a great idea to strip down butt naked and streak through the tent with 200 people sitting there. Mm. Hey, so Neal, you'll be all right.
Okay.
and nothing happened.
Yeah, because that ain't happening, I can promise you.
I went streaking through the middle of 200 people eating barbecue and drinking beer. Everybody's looking like, what the hell? Yeah, there's crazy things that go on there. All right, so a game that I'm into, Miami, minus 16.5 is traveling to South Florida. Team that was a 1-point game in Tuscaloosa a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
South Florida, pretty good. They're okay. They're a good American team.
Yeah.
South Florida better than Florida. Does Miami, do they dominate this game like they dominated the Florida game? Or do they look more pedestrian, the roster? That's what I want to see. They're favored by 16.5. If they're who I think they are, I think that they do. But I'm interested to see how they look roster-wise to South Florida, who South Florida gave Alabama fits, just couldn't do things offensively they needed to do to score. So I'm interested to see what that game looks like and the flow of that game. All right, a game that you probably won't watch it, but you'll be interested to see the score. A team that's very difficult for me to figure out. and that's Kansas State. Kansas State, we're going to get to the SEC next. This is the last non-conference, non-SEC game I'm interested in. Kansas State's -7. They're traveling to BYU. BYU's undefeated. BYU's very good defensively. They're very good up front on both sides of the ball. Both of those have given – that's what Tulane did to give Kansas State problems. Kansas State destroyed Arizona at home, but this is not at Arizona. This is at BYU. Tough place to play.
Mm-hmm.
Does Kansas State slip up this weekend? Does BYU catch them one at home? You know what I mean?
They could.
Matchup-wise, they have a chance.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen BYU at all. I've not been blown away by Kansas State the little bit that I've seen.
They look like this past week when they played Arizona, they looked like the Kansas State you were expecting them to look like. But before that, they were just like against Tulane, they were very pedestrian. They got very fortunate to win the game against Tulane. BYU, I mean, they've gone on the road. They went to SMU and won. They're very good up front. They have a chance. This is a game I'll be keeping an eye on. This could be like upset alert. Kansas State's on upset alert this weekend. JCP761 on Cooper Chevrolet chat said, but did the people recognize him? Yes, everybody knew exactly who it was. All 200 people knew who he was when he went through. That would tell you something. All right, Neal, let's talk about the SEC games this week. We'll start off a game that I know you're going to keep an eye on, which most people in this league are for variants of different reasons.
Yep.
The Florida Gators are -6 in Starkville against Mississippi State. All right. I know the only thing you're looking at is to see if Mississippi State wins this game. You want to see what happens after the game?
I feel pretty sure that I know what happens after this game if Florida loses.
Okay.
Make sure I'm right on this before I say it. Oh, I just lost my glasses. I've had a day with the glasses, man. Florida open date after this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it.
If they lose to Mississippi State, I don't like his chances to get through Sunday.
All
now,
right,
if he beats Mississippi State, they're going to give him more time. And the truth is, even though I am 100% convinced they've made the decision to move on, you do not want to, for a multitude of reasons. You'd really love to not fire him before you have to fire him. Because, A, the day you let him go, the transfer portal thing gets rolling. Everybody starts trying to completely swipe your players. And now the assistant coaches, and you know this, the assistant coaches in the building, the day that – and their pride's already started. These guys go home to wives and stuff.
We do.
But the day he's fired, that day when the other coaches come home, hey, baby, where are we going after this? What are we doing? What do we need to do? People are distracted. And so the running backs coach, the receivers coach, the DB coach, the analyst in the room, they don't really give a shit if people are being tampered with now because they're tampering. They're tampering. Hey,
well, they're going like the new mode is, hey, we're fired. Hey, if you hire me, I'll bring X guy with me.
Yeah, so it's all chaos. And then number two, if you're Florida and you're holding out some hope that you can steal a Lane Kiffin, you can steal an Eli Drinkwitz. And I think, by the way, I think it's fantasy land for both guys. I'm just going to be on the record. The more I go, the more I think it's fantasy land. Okay? But if you're holding out hope that you think you can get one of those people, you really don't want them starting to get quizzed by media in September. Because at some point, one of them's going to go, maybe not. They're not going to be happy with you because you're going to be leaking stuff and all that stuff. At some point, one of them might go, no, I'm not going to Gainesville. And now he's made it harder on himself to go to Gainesville. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Nick Saban says hi, but it never really completely goes away then. So you don't want to do that. And then third, I mean, look, if you just abandon ship in September and it just completely falls apart on you, whoever gets the job next, you're making it even harder. And it's already going to be really hard. So I'm sure they're hoping that he can beat Mississippi State, not lose the open date, maybe beat UCF, get just a modicum of not even momentum, but just put a couple of Band-Aids on the cut. Yeah, you're still going to bleed through it, but maybe it's not gushing blood. That's what they're hoping for. Seriously.
All right, two things. I got a few things on this, and we got time today, so we only got a few more games left. I got a few thoughts on this we didn't cover yesterday when AJ was on here. So, thought one, going on what you just said, okay? let's say you make a change this week, okay, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
okay, do you know who the interim's probably going to be? Somebody like Ron Roberts.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
Florida's going to be shocked come December when everybody's like, nope, 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 nope. What if Ron Roberts? Do you know who they're playing the last 5 weeks of the season?
Yes.
What if Ron Roberts goes out as the interim head coach and beats Georgia? Beats Georgia, plays competitively, and then beats Florida State to end the season in an emotional rivalry
now
game.
all the players are
You ever heard that
lobbying
story
for
before,
him.
Neal?
Yeah, oh,
All right, so
been there.
and then all of a sudden you can't get your guys.
Literally.
Nobody wants to come. Hey, let's hire this guy.
Let me tell you a story.
And there's nothing wrong with Ron Roberts. I love Ron Roberts. I think he's great.
It's not the point.
But it's not the point. But you got to be careful when you do that.
Well, and then you do that because the first question that any responsible media asks the day that you fire Napier and you promote Roberts.
Yeah. Does he have a chance?
Is there any chance that he wins the head coach, that he becomes your head coach? And the answer is always, no, we're going to conduct a search, blah, 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 blah. So let me tell you a story how that works out.
I've heard this story before.
This is where Ole Miss did the double whammy. They fire Hugh Freeze late July. Promote Matt Luke. Me, being a responsible journalist, asked, I'll say it, I don't care. I got people. I asked Michael Thompson in the restroom at the pavilion at Ole Miss, any chance he gets the head coaching job? Any chance he's permanent? No, we got to move on from this. He'll do a really good job. He's a great guy, blah, blah, blah. I agree, by the way. Matt's a great guy.
Great guy.
Exceptional guy. And then Matt does a really good job holding a team together. You weren't here. You were
still at South.
Still at South. Does a really good job holding a fractured, weird, flawed team together. Had a couple bad losses, a couple disappointing losses. So me, being a responsible journalist, this was always fun. I always appreciated Matt never holding this against me. Now, I told him right away. I said, let me tell you what happened. I did. But me, being a responsible journalist, I said, so it was late October, November, early November. And I'm writing a story about who Ole Miss could hire. And I had an idea because I knew if I asked people on the record, I'm going to get coach speak bullshit. And I said, I'm my own boss. I don't work for Gannett. I don't work for New York Times. I can do this as long as I'm accurate with it, fair, and don't make bullshit up. I said, I'm going to grant everyone anonymity. Literally everyone I talked to. And it worked. I went from 1 or 2 people would talk to me to like 30 people talk to me. Everyone gets anonymity. I'm not even going to identify you. I might say, hey, a scout. I might say an assistant coach. But I'm not going to identify anyone. No leagues, no teams, no names, nothing. So, Ole Miss was playing at Kentucky that Saturday. And I want to say that morning I talked to Ross Bjork. And I said, hey, I just want to tell you, I'm putting this story out late today. And I'm not mentioning Matt Luke. Should I? No, we're not doing that. So what if you win a few here? Because they weren't playing particularly well at that point. What if you win a few here? Yeah, we're not doing that. We got to.
That was right after they lost to Arkansas. Had the big lead and lost, right?
Had the big lead at home to Arkansas and lost it. Matt looked like he almost was in tears.
Yeah.
And because a couple of the people that I quoted in the story said they should hire Matt. And I sort of included it, but I really didn't talk about Matt in the story because I did. Why? I didn't do it, not to be a jerk, which is what I was called. It was because I didn't think it was fair to Matt's family.
Yeah.
Caroline and Matt's niece, Tom's daughter, are really good friends to this day, Caden. And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
I was trying to be
cordial,
respectful.
Yeah.
So literally the week of the Egg Bowl, on that Monday, we were getting ready to start the podcast. And in 10 weekend, Ole Miss had lost to Texas A&M on Saturday night at home, half empty stadium. We got Tommy Tuberville to do the hottie toddy. It was a disaster. The whole thing was just an absolute
That was a good idea.
I'm always scared.
Whose idea was that?
With TikTok, I'm always afraid to say certain words, so I don't say them.
I'll watch.
I won't use the word. It's a bad word. It was just a train wreck. And I got back and I talked to 2 or 3 people that night. I've told people this story, but a lot of our listeners are not Ole Miss people. This show's kind of broken through that ground.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that I talked to that night, it was late. Ole Miss was a late game against A&M. And I got back and I was up till 2 a.m. on the phone, and multiple people were like, hey, you need to be asking about Dave Doran. You need to be writing about Dave Doran. So I wrote about Dave Doran the next day. And phone rings. It's someone at Ole Miss going, why are you the only person writing about Dave Doran? And I said, well, I have no idea why other people aren't writing about something. But I'm hearing it's Dave Doran. And basically I was told that I was right. It was going to be Dave Doran. So we're going into the Egg Bowl like 3 days later. And I asked the question, I asked it again. I said, what if Ole Miss wins? I said, does Matt have any chance? No, we got to go in another direction. I said, what if you win? Well, we're probably not going to win. What if you win? It's football. Crazy things happen in football. We still wouldn't do it. Okay.
Trick's on you.
Ole Miss beats Mississippi State in Starkville. Real emotional game.
Yeah.
Very important game to the Luke family. They're Ole Miss through and through, right? And sure enough, Friday, Saturday rolls around. I'm still not writing about Matt Luke because no one's told me, hey, Neal, it's changed. But my point was not about me. My point was then you promote Matt Luke, but by the time you promote him, you've already bled the guy out.
Yeah.
It was so he
was
never
handled poorly.
He never had a full shot. So
no,
to your point,
I can validate that.
To your point, if you've already made the decision that you're going to fire Billy Napier, you're paying him a lot of money. As much as you don't maybe want to keep him around, you need to let him take these L's. Let him take them.
Well, that was your point about, the Hugh got off lucky not having to coach that next year.
He did, 100%. Had Hugh had to coach that team was going to 4-8. They'd quit on him. It was done. He was over. And everything would be a lot different. You'd have a completely different butterfly effect.
Yep.
But they didn't. Matt did a pretty good job. The players rallied around him. The players loved him. The players fought for him. People in the community fought for him. All that stuff. It's not a criticism. Then the chancellor does the power move thing. He's trying to hang on to his job. And so he says, that's who you're hiring. And so now you got an AD, not that Ross didn't like Matt or vice versa, but you got an AD that was going to go in a different direction. He gets cut off at the knees. And now you've got a cluster. You've got this thing where you're weak.
Yep.
And so that's the lesson for Florida is, listen, sometimes you make your bed and you're going to have to lie in it for a little while.
I agree. All right, so I want to bring this up real quick because we got like 20 minutes. We're good. This would be if I was the AD at Florida, and it's not just Florida. I think this is I think ADs and contracts and the way we treat renewals, extensions, all those things. I think that hasn't adjusted to the new way of college football. All right, so it's been very well publicized by not only, I mean, you've heard from your sources, it's all over social media and everybody else's sources that the money has been raised to move on. The $26 million has been raised. You have heard that, is that correct?
Yes.
That's been by many people.
Yes, and I've heard it from enough national people to believe that I'm right.
All right, hear me out on this. Just hear me out on this. I got 2 questions. One, if I'm an AD and we got boosters that have raised $26 million to get rid of a coach, where were you when we were trying to raise money to buy players?
Not how it works, though. I get it.
Just hear me out, though.
I do.
Hear me out.
I do. We did this a little bit yesterday, though. I mean,
no, wait, hang on. Hang on. So Billy's they owe him $26 million. He's got 4 years left on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why not? You make an agreement. Hey, we're not extending you. I don't give a shit if you win a national championship. You got 4 years left on your contract. This constant extending coaches, that was for recruiting the way recruiting was. That's the only reason coaches got extended.
Oh, I agree.
Like, you know how baseball does it?
Uh-huh.
These guys work on 1-year deals all the time.
Yeah.
kids don't give a shit how long your contract is anymore. Like, hey, sorry, I'm working on a 1-year deal. How much you paying me again? Like, they don't give a shit that you got a 2-year deal left or a 1-year deal. It's how much are you paying me now?
Yeah, lots of assistants work on 1-year deals.
Yeah, the length of your deal now is irrelevant because it was only used for recruiting. That was the only point of it.
Yeah, a kid was signing with your school and he was coming for 4 or 5 years, and so you had 4 or 5 years on the contract. And the kid. So when in recruiting, you could say, "Hey, look, I'm recruiting you, and I'm going to be with you the whole time. Look, I've got a contract for the whole time you'll be in college. I got you."
Right. So now,
and Mama, I'm going to take care of your baby. Right?
Exactly. That's irrelevant now, right?
Basically.
So Billy's got 4 years left on his deal after this year, which is like 28 and change. It's like right around 30, 7.4, 5, 6, 7, whatever that adds up to. But it's roughly around $30 million left on his contract. If you raised $26 million to buy him out, okay, how about this? You let him, you give that take that $26 million, go freaking buy some freaking players.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I get it.
All right. And then let the contract run out and you don't have to pay a buyout.
But you're applying common sense, practicality, and rationality to
us. They don't have it, right?
To something that's not fueled by any of those things.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Is thinking. They have to change the way they think. And it's just like baseball. The same thing with baseball. These coaches, I mean, hell, Moneyball's a freaking movie. The whole part of the synergy of the movie was that Art Howell's on a 1-year deal. I mean, like when you pay players, they don't give a fuck how long your contract is.
Such a stupid movie, by the way.
Sorry, Mom. You don't like that movie? Love it.
No, because that team had 3 super young pitchers at the beginning.
Hudson's average.
At the beginning of their careers, that Mark Mulder, Barry Zito, Tim Hudson. You had Jason Isringhausen at the beginning of his career on a rookie scale deal. You had Eric Chavez at the beginning of his career on a rookie scale deal. You had Miguel Tejada at the heart of his career still on a manageable deal. It was a really talented roster. It had nothing to do with freaking Moneyball and Billy Bean going cheap on a couple of spots.
I still like the movie though.
You
put too much fact in it.
I get it.
It's a great fictional story.
It's just totally flawed. Yes.
All right. But my point is this, is that I think as an AD, as you're moving to this new territory, now, why would you extend him? You're afraid to lose him. Well, the hell, they're not afraid to lose him. So you say, if he wins and gets out of there, whatever. Yeah. But regardless, let's say they go hire somebody. Guess what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to raise NIL, right? So there's more investment coming, so you already need the money anyway.
Yeah.
All right, now hear me out on this. And this is the last part I'm going to say about this whole, I'm not talking about this shit for 4 months, people. I get asked about this shit every fucking day. Excuse me. Sorry, Mom. And the reason I said fucking right there is because guess who asked me about it today? My freaking mom asked me about it today. I can't do this every day.
Mom, let's go.
I can't do this every day. All right. Is Lane going to go to Florida? All right, guys. All right. Let common sense police interrupt you guys. Okay. I said this. I did the Bama Standard did Petty's show last night. He wants to get you on the show, by the way. I meant to tell you that. But I did his show, and I said this on the show last night. Nobody's thinking about this. Is anybody going to argue with me? Can anybody argue with me and say, Ole Miss is not going to be in the playoffs?
As of today?
Yes.
No.
They're going to be in the playoffs. Does everybody agree with that?
I mean, it certainly looks that way, yes.
Does everybody feel confident in having that discussion?
At this point, I would be really surprised if they didn't make
All right, guess what the date of the first round of the playoff is going to be?
December 20th and 21st.
Okay. Hey, news flash to all you people out there. All right, you know when signing day is this year?
It's like December the 5th.
It's like the first Wednesday in December. Do you know what else is going to open for the only time in December this year?
The transfer portal.
The transfer portal window. Does anybody think, one, that Lane Kiffin's going to lead Ole Miss to the playoffs and go, hey, guys, it's been real. I'm going to dip and go to Florida before the playoffs start?
No.
Is Missouri in the same situation, Neal?
Yes.
Does anybody think Eli Drinkwitz is going to lead Missouri to the playoffs and go, hey, guys, it's been real. I'm going to get in this shit show in Gainesville right now instead of coaching you guys in the playoffs.
No.
And get my giant raise. Does anybody think they're going to do that?
No.
No. And then common sense again. Does anybody think Florida's going to go, hey, yeah, we're not going to worry about signing day. We're not going to worry about the portal. Hey, we'll just wait on you to whenever you're ready to get done coaching.
We'll let our roster get
we'll get completely rated. When you show up here, Coach, hey, check this out, Coach. When you show up here, when you get through with your playoff run,
you're going to have 8 players.
You're going to have no players on the roster. And guess what? You can't go get any either. You're done.
Yeah.
This is what you got left. You got like 15 walk-ons left in the building. Hey, Coach. Hey, chomp them, Gators. Go get them, kid. Like, it's common fucking sense. Ain't fucking going. So stop asking. That was for you, Nick.
No, it's It's just silly, the whole thing. I mean, look.
I think I upset the dogs right there.
You probably did. They're probably panicked right now. Bless them, bless their hearts.
That was for Nick. That was for him.
No, it's.
I'm not talking about it again. You have to. I don't.
I really don't.
You have too many shows that you can ask about it.
It's the thing, right? Is I've been saying this for a while. It just doesn't pass the. You know what it is? It's a couple things. It's 2 years ago. It's where everybody's like, if you look at it dispassionately, like, I don't care, whatever, right? I mean, my life's not changing much one way or the other, right? So I don't know, whatever. But 2 years ago, I think Lane was going to Auburn.
Allegedly.
No, I'm being serious for a minute.
Okay.
2 years ago, he was going to go to Auburn, and then it changed. It's been documented now. I said this on the morning show. Chris Lowe with ESPN is probably no media member closer to Lane. And it's not that Chris takes marching orders from Lane at all. Zero. That doesn't happen. But he didn't write some of what he wrote a couple of weeks ago without, not approval, that's not the right word, but he had to feel really good about writing that because he knew Lane was going to read that story.
Yeah. And
so for him to write what he wrote about, and he got to talk to he talked to Landry, Lane's daughter. I mean, there was a lot to that story, right? But I think some of the national people, they're having a hard time letting it go. And then you have some of the Florida writers who are just like writers, everybody else, not making fun of anybody, homers. And homers are the worst at coaching searches. The absolute worst. Because they view their school as the best. They can't. Why would anybody leave anywhere why would anybody go anywhere from here when you're here? This is heaven on earth. It's like, well, it's not really how coaches don't view it that way. And 10 years ago, yeah, the Ole Miss coach would have crawled to Florida, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a different era.
Things change, boss.
It's a different era. I say this all the time. Just because something's true on Monday doesn't mean it's going to be true on Tuesday. And the fact that it's not true on Tuesday doesn't mean it wasn't true on Monday. Like, I just think things have changed. I do. I think there's been a fundamental shift. Do I think Lane's going to be at Ole Miss forever? I don't know. Do I think he's leaving for Florida this year? I don't.
Agree.
Are there places I think he'd go? Absolutely. At 1,000,000%.
I think it would take, if they go to the playoffs, it would have to take an NFL gig.
It would take an NFL gig. Like if you told me, and I'm not saying this is a scenario because it looks like the guy in Tampa is going to win, okay? But if you told me there was a world where he took Ole Miss to like the national semifinal, right? And Jackson Dart got invited to New York and the whole deal, and maybe a little part of him went, that's about the ceiling.
Well, the Jaguars or somewhere like that.
Yeah, and then Tampa called and said, hey, you want to coach in the NFL again? You want to coach the Bucs? Sure, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think he would take an NFL job.
I do too. So 1,000,000%. Like the Dallas Cowboys job, right? Something crazy like that, I could see it. But at this point, I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm going to sound like a homer here for a minute, but this is about Missouri too. Right now, for Eli Drinkwitz and for Lane Kiffin, a move to Florida is lateral at best, and I'm not sure it's lateral.
I don't think it's lateral.
I think it's a move down, which makes no sense. They both are in places where they have a ton of equity. They've both got NIL things going. It's really strong.
They're not going to get paid more at there than they're going to get paid at their place.
Missouri will pay
whatever.
Eli $12 million if it's what it takes. Ole Miss will pay Lane $12 million if that's what it takes. Where you go? What are you doing? You going to Florida for what? To do what? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Would you look if Steve Sarkisian just announced at the end of the run, I'm done. I decided I don't want to coach football anymore, and Texas off. Yeah, but that applies to 99.99% of coaches. Right? I mean, if the Texas job opens up, if the Alabama job opens up, if Kirby walked away, sure, there are 3 or 4 jobs that everybody would go. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 jobs that everybody would go, yes, I want that job. I'll leave it. I'll leave anything. Right? Would Eli Drinkwitz leave Missouri for Georgia? Yes, tomorrow.
Yes.
But the point is like Florida's not in that boat anymore. And because it maybe once was for a brief period of time, it doesn't mean that it is today. And I just think you see media have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on quickly on these. Ohio is at Kentucky. Kentucky's favored by 20. Sneaky game right here. Watch out for not upset alert, but you got
letdown alert.
let down, and they know what they got coming next week. It's sandwiched between Georgia and Ole Miss. Ohio's not a terrible MAC team; they're solid.
Right.
And at 20 points, they haven't scored a lot on offense.
Yeah, they're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have a hard time answering the bell here.
Yeah, this is an answer the bell game. So heads up on that. UCLA to LSU. I don't know what to do with this. LSU should blow the doors off these guys.
So many points, man.
It's a lot of points. UCLA is terrible.
Sucks.
LSU should win this game by 70 points. They probably won't. And SEC play starts next week. All right, Arkansas at Auburn. Auburn's favored by 3 points. Neal, I like the Razorbacks in this game, straight up.
Well, I'll tell you this.
What am I missing?
I don't know.
I'm missing something.
I didn't see Auburn last week, so I didn't see Brown play.
But it's New Mexico.
Yeah.
He did fine, Neal,
Yeah.
and he made good. Like, as I like to say, I think I'm qualified to talk about this. I thought he made 99.9% better decisions than what Peyton Thorne made. And all the Auburn fans were like, we got Hank Brown. He did this and this. And there was a guy on TikTok Live. I had to bring this up. Made me crack up laughing today. He was like, what about Hank Brown and the Auburn Tigers? I was like, all your hope is in Hank Brown. And he's like, hey, but you got to remember our last two quarterbacks were Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford. I said, hey, point taken. Hank is better than those two guys. But like Neal, it's different speeds, man.
I don't really know what I think of Arkansas right now because, 2 weeks ago I thought they played.
I think you get that effort this week.
If you then I think they probably pull it off. And so I'll say this:
you can't show up like UAB though.
No. And that was a letdown game. Yeah. They were flat, sandwich game.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, it was kind of a dumb bet.
Felt good though. I jumped in the trap
UAB
too.
was so bad against ULM.
I jumped in the trap too, right along with you. And you both.
It was more than just, hey, I think Arkansas is better. It was UAB lost by 25 points to ULM. And then you have to remind yourself the transitive property does not apply.
Does not. It does not.
I don't know. I don't know what I think here. I mean, look, I'll tell you this for Arkansas. So this is for Auburn. This is a big spot.
It's a must win.
This is a disaster if you lose.
It's must win.
But for Arkansas, it's a big spot because you can sort of quiet things a little. I think Sam's leaving at the end of the year, one way or the other. I do, but this is an interesting spot.
Very interesting.
Big spot for Travis Williams. This is a game that has no national championship ramifications whatsoever.
It's got some personal shit on it though.
And then don't forget this one. And this is one of the elements to it. Hugh ran the score up last year on this one, and some of those kids are still there and they remember it.
Yeah. All right, Vandy's at Mizzou. Mizzou's getting 20.5. That seems like a big number.
It's a big number because Mizzou might be just a little flat. Mizzou coming off of a big win over BC, and they've got a big game coming up at Texas A&M. This might be a spot where Eli goes, hey, let's just get a dub.
Yep.
But of the 6 SEC teams that are in title contention, playoff, and look, if you make the playoff, you have a shot.
Right.
Outside of the group of 5.
Right.
Missouri's the one that probably needs to have the most beauty pageant points. Keep that in mind as we go. Missouri's schedule is not fair to them, but it is what it is. Missouri's schedule is set up where Missouri probably needs to have a couple of times where they might need to win the talent competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they might need to win the public service competition or something because they're probably not going to win the swimsuit competition here.
No.
And so they probably need to make sure that they cover their other bases.
All right. Game of the week for me is Tennessee at Oklahoma.
For sure.
Tennessee's at -7 going in this game. I'm going to pick this game on Thursday. So just give everybody a heads up on that. Here's the keys. Is you got Nico going on the road. We talked about a little bit with AJ yesterday. Oklahoma's got to find a way to offensively. Oklahoma has to find a way to get drives going, continue drives, extend drives, and shorten the game. That's their path to victory: is extending drives, shortening possessions on Tennessee's side, and finding a way to get turnovers on defense against Nico. He's a young buck. Yeah. On the road, finding a way to force him into some decision making. It ain't gonna be any throwing errors
because you let that son gun get going.
Don't get him get hot.
You let him get
don't
hot.
Let him get hot.
And this thing's a blowout, dude.
Find a way to roll the coverage, whatever you got to do.
You don't think Josh Heupel would love to name a score here, right?
Yeah.
Woo.
But
I'm gonna tell you, and maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid because it is orange and it is sweet, and it tastes so good. I think Tennessee's big here.
Okay. The matchup that's going to decide it is Tennessee's defense
defensive
front
line
versus offensive line.
and it's not a good matchup for OU.
They got to find a way to extend drives. That's the key to victory. It's pretty easy.
You got to eat some clock.
It's a pretty easy game plan as far as what we have to do.
But
now you got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
what to do part is easy.
You're going to have to score some points. You're going to have to eat some clock, and you're going to have to force him into some mistakes. And you cannot let him get red hot, because if you do, night.
Yep.
Because that dude is a momentum guy. I don't know if you've noticed. He gets going. It's tough.
Grind said Siskey's asking what he's missing on the Arkansas game. He's going to be missing some money betting on Arkansas. It wouldn't be the first time.
I can tell you the Arkansas-Auburn game will not be on my sheet.
Okay.
It's too weird.
All right.
Because that's one of those games, if you told me Arkansas won by 10, I'm like, okay. And if you told me Auburn won by 10, I'm like, okay. So with those kind of games, I just check out.
All right. Bowling Green's at Texas A&M. Nothing to really see here. That's checked out. Akron at South Carolina.
Same.
Even worse.
Well, this is for South Carolina. They got an open date coming up before Ole Miss. This is just a don't screw up.
Let's get out of here. Can we win the game?
Win the game.
And have nobody on the injury list.
Just get a dub.
All right. ULM is at Texas. You taking the money line on this one?
Yeah, I got the ULM money line. Listen, I think this is a game that obviously ULM had an open date, and coming off that UAB win,
horns down.
Yeah, I anticipate like going up against a young quarterback, unproven. Actually, ULM about at least 20. Big win.
Big win.
Big win for the Warhawks.
All right, then Georgia Southern at Ole Miss. This is probably a situation where I'm not touching this game, even though everything in my body says just lay the points of Ole Miss and ride it out.
I mean, I have to. They're the only team keeping me in the competition.
They are keeping you alive right now.
I'm actually thinking about doubling up on this game. I'm thinking about taking Ole Miss minus the points and then taking the over.
Here's why. The only reason I'm not on this particular one is Lane likes Clay.
He does.
And there's not many coaches that Lane wouldn't that Lane would take it easy on. Clay's one of them.
Well, and the other thing for Ole Miss in this game, right, is that it's, in all seriousness, as much as Ole Miss is kind of they're because of the way the league works and looks. I think Ole Miss's outlook is a little different right now. Like, I don't think Ole Miss needs to win a lot of the early preliminary contest in the beauty contest.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, they don't have to go score 90.
Like, they don't have to go hit every note in the singing contest right now, because all they're going to have to do is just keep progressing. And they get Kentucky in an early game. So this is a late game followed by an early game. So your Sunday is going to be a little squirrely anyway. You have a short week, early game, first conference game against a good defense, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if – now the only thing about this team is this team's kind of methodical, Ole Miss. Like, they've been really, really good. It's like 168-9.
Yes.
So far.
160-something to 9, yeah.
They've been really, really good. They're a veteran, and they just sometimes just keep making plays. But I won't be surprised if it gets late third quarter and Lane goes, let's get out of here.
Yeah. I think Georgia Southern will be able to do some things offensively from a schematic standpoint. They just don't have the horses. And and they can't stop the run.
But he does like Clay, and I doubt if he's going to take any perverse pleasure in beating Clay by 60 points. Yeah. So
they struggle drastically
against the run.
Oh.
And Ole Miss is still, even though they've kind of gotten the running game going, they probably would still love to build some running game.
They needed to work on that this week. So it'll be a
listen. If anybody's listening, help me. There's no reason to play for 4 hours. Okay,
just run the ball.
Let's go.
Run the ball, Paul.
Yeah. Somebody hijack the TV timeout guy.
Yeah.
Lock him in a closet. Don't hurt him.
Or just take his sign from him.
Take his sign. No. I don't want him to take his sign, his phone, and lock him in a closet.
Okay.
Give him some Twinkies and a Coca-Cola and access to a restroom.
Chicken box.
Give him a box of chicken. Sure.
Go down and get the post-game meal and give it to him.
Don't hurt him.
Yeah.
And as soon as it's over, let him out. Pat him on the head. Send him on his way. I don't want to hurt him. I don't even want to traumatize him. I want to make sure he knows he's safe, but I don't want him having any access to that sign or the field. And then let's roll.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's run it. We got and then NFL wise, quickly, we got like 3 minutes. Quickly here, Patriots are at the Jets on a Thursday night game.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll be watching it because it's Thursday night. The interesting games this week, the Chargers are at the Steelers. Both are 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And the Steelers defense is the real deal now. This is going to be the total in this game is like 35. It may be the final score will be 9-6 in this game.
It's not that he's underrated, but I still don't know that he's completely appreciated how good Mike Tomlin is.
Oh, dude, all he does is win.
Mike Tomlin just wins.
He's got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson at quarterback.
And dude, it doesn't matter.
That defense, though, is freaking real, man.
Well, they do. Their organization. And look, Tomlin's the top of the line, but their organization's phenomenal.
Watt is playing out of his mind, which he does every time. TJ is like, he's unconscious.
That's like, I laughed, man. I laughed when people last year, I guess, were, hey, it's the end of the road for Mike Tomlin. I'm like, do you guys understand that if you fired Mike Tomlin, his agent would be like, oh, shit, well, here we go.
We're supposed to get paid now, boss.
He would have literally.
He could pick a job.
He would have literally 10 offers. He would get within 5 minutes.
He'd be the number one candidate. You thought Sean Payton was a hot candidate? He would be the number one candidate on every single board.
Yes. He would, no joke, have 10.
However many openings there were.
Before the openings. He would have 10. He would have 10 teams. He'd be like Craig Counsell when he was, where 10 teams who had coaches who were perfectly content with that coach would call and go, hey, just what if?
Yep. The Texans are 2.5-point favorites at the Vikings, both 2-0 in that game. That's interesting.
That's a real good game, actually. I kind of like Minnesota early there.
And then early danger alert after Mr. Smartman is trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Nick Sirianni is taking the Eagles without A.J. Brown because he's going to be out for a few weeks. To the Saints.
Why is that line only 2.5? That feels like a trap.
2.5. The Saints are 2.5-point favorites at home.
Feels like a trap.
Yeah,
it feels like it should be 5.5.
Yeah, but I think they're trying to get you to take the Saints. That's what I think.
Because they think the Eagles are going to
win. But the Saints are hot as hell right now. And then another interesting game: the Ravens, who are 0-2. Yeah. The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens, who I predicted to go to win the Super Bowl,
they still have a chance.
Are at the Cowboys, who are 1-1. That is a big must-win game. Another good game. I think you will actually watch this game because this is right up your alley. I know you, of all the games you're going to watch, the Detroit Lions at the Cardinals.
Yep.
I think that you will actually watch that game. That's right up your interest level.
Yeah. Cardinals have played well.
That's probably will be the game that you would like to watch the most. I know you that well. I think that's the game you would want to watch.
For some reason, I'm kind of intrigued by the Cardinals.
Chiefs are, and then Sunday night, the only reason I got these on here because the Sunday night games know what's coming up. Sunday night, the Chiefs are at the Falcons. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. That feels low. And then on Monday night, we got 2 Monday night games this week. We got the Jags, who are 0-2, traveling to Buffalo. Buffalo's 5.5-point favorite. Mm-hmm. And we got our 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals in a must-win situation hosting the 1-1 Commanders.
It's a big line, 7.5. It's a lot of points, man.
Hooking NFL's
just
NFL, man. I'm telling you, I was so
Vegas is so good with the NFL.
They're so good, and every single line in the NFL, it comes down. There's very few that are like, oh, I got this one. When I watched the Chargers Panthers game this past week, felt great about that one the whole time. But last night, I'm sitting here going dude, you scored a cover with a minute to go, and you're like, yep, not winning this one. They're coming down the field. I have never seen, I don't know what it is, man, the NFL when it comes down to, hey, we got to drive down the field in 10 seconds to want to kick the field. They find a way, man. They find a way.
Well, you see, they're professional football players.
Yeah. You see, you can't touch them past 5 yards, and so we decide to throw it. But
it's a league that's built on points and offense, and they take care of. I mean, I don't blame them. But look at the ratings they get. It works.
Dude, let me tell you what, the Eagles can't stop the run for shit. They were getting abused in the running game last night, and so it's bad.
Shout out to Bryson DeMoss in the thread. Also Jason Lucas. I think a couple new faces.
Yeah, appreciate you guys joining.
Says OU's got some big time players coming back this week.
Yeah, they do. They got some injury guys coming back. They're going to be. Look, I'm telling you.
Oh, it's going to be a fun game.
It's going to be.
What time's that game? 6:30.
6:30 night game. Yeah. So you know what I'm doing Saturday night. Just got them on the. I got company coming in town I won't be going to the game. I got somebody coming in and doing work, and I'm going to let them. I'm going to let them go to the game and do what they do, and I'm watching ball. I'm not. I was
gotcha.
Say, hey,
y'all doing a live show again?
I assume. I have no idea. I
didn't know what y'all's plan was.
No idea. I just do what I'm told, man. I'm a team guy. Whatever I can do for the team to help, man. I'm a team player. I'm a team player.
I know.
Whatever you let me know, I'll be watching drinking Diet Millers. It's important, though. Like, I got to get with Chase on this. We got to have a little bit, like, I need to know earlier in the week at what his plan is, because I have to plan out my Saturday with, like,
your consumption.
I'm smoking. What time smoking on the grill?
Right, I knew what you meant.
And what time does my Diet Miller consumption start? Because my Diet Miller consumption, depending on what time I start, do I need to go get more at the store if I'm going to have all day, or do I have to wait to start at 5 or 6 o'clock? Like, I've been starting these late games. I've been starting my Diet Miller consumption at 5 o'clock, and I feel like I'm okay to talk on the show.
Oh, you know what you could do?
Tell me what I could do.
In the event that you forget to put the meat on the grill in time on the smoker, you can just go to Wendy's. Have you had Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce?
I have.
Have you had them covered in sauce?
Oh, covered in sauce?
Covered in sauce. Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs that you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, not the Bills, buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. That's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. So pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you have absolutely never, ever nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
It also takes it from a 10 to 11, I heard.
It does, 2 and 11, all the way to 11.
I love it. I wonder if AJ goes and gets him some Wendy's nugs. Does he now
there's
sign
no question about it.
Does he now sign his autograph? Do we have Mac 11 Mondays? Do we go from, like, signing his autographs with AJ McCarron 10 to AJ McCarron 11?
Probably.
Probably.
Well, if he had the spicy ghost pepper, that's for sure.
Ghost pepper would take it to 11.
Because that would take it to 11.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Neal, remind everybody that our show is also brought to you by PTG Outdoors. They are a Caymas boats dealer. They both have fresh and saltwater boats. They sell and service Mercury outboards. They do custom marine electronic installations with Garmin, Humminbird, and Low Ranch products. You can get all your fishing needs and custom golf cart retrofits where they replace all of the batteries with a single lithium battery. They have locations in Grenada, Mississippi, and Northport, Alabama. More importantly, go to the online store at ptgoutdoors.com and get all of your stuff sent right to your house. Right to your house.
Right to your house. We'll be back with you on Thursday. Big part of a full day at MPW Digital. As always, Big Thursday's big day on the stream. So hit that subscribe button, please. Hit the follow button, whatever. It's free.
Doesn't cost a dime.
Doesn't cost you anything. Hit it. We'd appreciate it. If you don't want to get all the notifications, you don't have to tell me. Just turn your notifications off. I won't know. I'll never know. I'll never, ever know. So it's okay. If you're worried about me getting my feelings hurt, I won't know. Don't tell me. Just hit the subscribe button. Hit the follow button. I'd appreciate it. We'll be back on Thursday with another edition of the show. For Tyler Siskey, I'm Neal McCready. Until Thursday, take care.